Guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who it is, my name's Jasmine San Jose, and today I'm actually going to be doing a story time on the car, how do you say that, Rochelle? In the car accidents I have been in? Yeah. Or how do you say that? That doesn't sound right, but basically in the car accidents, I have been in. Okay, I've been in 3 accidents and my record is still clean. Thank the gods for that. But I'm just gonna get into the story time because there's not really much to say. I mean, I'm not asking for you guys to feel, you know, sorry for me. This happened, I learned from it, and you know, life goes on, and I'm here and I'm alive and I'm okay. So the first time that I got in a car accident was when I was driving to school in Los Angeles from Ontario. I would drive like about 3 hours with traffic around that time, and there was this one day. I was 17 at this time still. It was like my first semester of college there, and I was 17 at the time, and I remember I was taking my driver's license test the next week after the accident happened, and I was driving, and when I drove, it was in the fall, so it was maybe around like November. Actually, it was in like late October because my birthday is November 3rd and I was taking my license test exactly November 3rd. So it was around late October, so it would get really cold. And there was some times where I would bring a blanket and hoodies and have my heater on. This was when I had my Volkswagen. I had a Volkswagen GTI, and I would just bust my heater and like I would put my music on so I wouldn't, you know, fall asleep or get tired or anything. And there was this one time where I got too cozy in my car and I fell asleep while driving on the freeway. And I like kissed the back of a car. By kiss, I mean, you know, I love tapped it. And I don't know how I did this, but I braked. I don't know how, but I just remember I like woke up and I seen this car's emergency lights in front of me, and I was like, oh fuck. I was like, what the fuck did I just fucking do? Sorry for my language, but that was literally my reaction. I was like, what did I just do? And I just like stopped there on the freeway, and he like got out of his car. And mind you, we're on the freeway, you know, he got out of his car. This guy could fucking die for all I know. A car could have ran him over. But he got out of his car and he like looked at what happened, you know. And then he was like pointing at me, like doing all these signals. And then he just like went back inside his car and he like, you know, waved his hand so I could follow him. And I was like, oh my god, like I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do? No one ever taught me what to do in these situations, you know. And I feel like that a lot of kids, they get in car accidents and they don't know what to do because no one teaches you that, you know. And when I got in this car accident, I was driving, and the car, like after like 5 seconds of driving, he wasn't like, you know, doing any hand movements for me to follow him. So I was like, oh my god, should I just leave? Like, I didn't really do anything to his car. Should I just drive off? Like, what should I do? And like, honestly, I was like starting to drive off, and then the car, he starts beeping and he's like, you know, pull over the next exit, da 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 da. And I pulled over, and mind you, I was like 15 minutes away from school. I was not far at all. And you know, I pull over, I get out of the freeway, I make a right. We're parked, and like I park, he parks. Okay, I don't have my license, I'm not insured in the car at this time, and he gets out of the car and he's like, what happened? Like, what happened? And I just started crying. And I am not the person to cry in front of anyone, but I just started crying. I was like, oh my god, like I don't know what to do. I was like, I don't have my license, this car's under my mom's name, I'm just going to school. Like, I was just crying. I was like, he was like, were you texting? Like, what were you doing? Why did that happen? I was like, I don't know, I just fell asleep. I was like, oh my god, I was all crying. I was like, I just fell asleep. I don't even know how that happened. I had my blanket on, I had the heater, I got too comfortable, and I fell asleep. And the guy, he tells me, he's like, wait, you were like going to school, right? And I was like, yes, I'm going to school right now. I was like, I don't even want to go. Like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I'll give you $500 if you want them. Like, we could go to an ATM and I'll give it to you. Like, you know, just, I don't know what to do. I was like, I don't want you to call the cops. I don't want to go to jail. And like, I was just crying. And I never carry cash, you know. But this day, I remember the day prior, my mom had gave me $20 for gas for, I don't know what reason, but I had the $20. And he was like, do you have any cash with you? And I was like, let me look, you know. So I'm over here looking through my little wallet case, and I'm like, I only have $20. Like, we could go to an ATM and I'll give you like however much you want, you know. And he tells me, he was like, give me the $20 and go on with your day. Pretend this never happened. I'll delete the pictures I took of, you know, the accident, and just go on with your day and forget that I ever existed. And I was like, you're kidding me. I was like, oh my God. I was like, thank you. I was all crying. I was like, thank you so much. Like, I'm taking my driver's license test next week. Like, I'm so sorry. Thank you. Like, God bless you, you know. And he tells me, he's like, just make something out of yourself. Forget that this ever happened. Forget I exist. Just make something out of yourself. Go to school. Stay here if you need to for like 20 minutes. Go to school and make something out of yourself. And I was just like, oh my God. And I remember I drove to school. And I was like texting like my boyfriend. I was like, what happened? I was texting him what happened, and like I couldn't call him because, you know, I've mentioned before, he is in the Marines, so he was barely getting ready for work, so he couldn't really talk on the phone because, you know, he was going to go into work. And like I was texting him before he went in, and I was like, I just got in a car accident, like I don't know what to do. Like, I was in my math class, I remember, and I just started crying, and I just walked out of that math class, and I went to my car and I just sat there for like 30 minutes crying. And I came home and I didn't know what to tell my mom. Like, I was just like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do. Like, obviously she's gonna see. I could have came up with a lie. I mean, it wasn't a big accident, but I could have lied, you know. I could have got my way out of it. But I remember I was sitting down in like the dining table, and she was looking at me. She's like, why are you home so early? Da 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 da. And I was like, oh, nothing. Like, nothing happened. And she's like, oh, like, how was your day? And I was like, oh, it was good. Like, and then after that, like, when she asked me that and I said it was good, I just started crying. And she's like, what happened? And then I told her, and then she started crying, you know, telling me to be okay, da 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 da. And then I started crying, and it was just a mess, and I was traumatized for like ever. And then that was my first accident. Then the second accident, this one was really small. A guy just hit me when I was backing out of a car, and actually this one I reported to the insurance because it was his fault, and he hit my car, and he wasn't in the insurance, he didn't have his license, and I got money. I got like 900 bucks out of it. So actually that one was fine. But this third one that I'm gonna tell you guys, this one was the one that really made me like learn. So I just got a new car this year. I bought a new car maybe in like, I don't know, June or something. I have a 2016 Mazda, and I got it this year. And, you know, I was super happy I got this new car. Like, I worked hard for this. I started working when I was in high school. Like, I've saved up for this. I sold my old Volkswagen that, you know, it was just giving me so many problems. And I sold it, and then I got this new car. And, you know, a month goes by, and I'm driving it. I'm, like, going everywhere, having the time of my life. I'm in a fucking, you know, new little car, doing my own thing. And then there's one day, like, okay, I would always... No, my boyfriend was stationed here in Camp Pendleton. I would always drive him to base. I would always drive him home. And I'd always, you know, go pick him up, take him, you know, all that. I was, like, his transportation. And, like, he had his car. He could have done it himself. But me, just, like, out of, you know, I'm a fucking nice girlfriend. I just wanted to do it to spend more time with him. So that's what I would do. And there was one day where I had dropped him off, and I was, you know, there at base till like 2 in the morning or something, and the base is about an hour and a half away. So, you know, I was driving home. I left base, it was like 2 a.m. or something. I'm driving home, it's like 3 a.m. now. I'm almost home, and I was on like, I think the 57 freeway or something. And again, I don't know how this happened, because I know I didn't fall asleep, because I would have felt myself falling asleep. I would have felt myself dozing off. But I basically blacked out when I was driving, and I don't know how this happened. I was not intoxicated, you know, I was not on any drugs, I was clean. I don't know how it happened. I know I didn't fall asleep, because if I fell asleep, I'm telling you, I would have felt myself dozing off, but I didn't. I just blacked out, and the carpool, there was a carpool lane right here. I was on this one, there was a lane right here, and I hit a guy's car. Like, I guess I hit him this way. I honestly don't know how I hit him. Like, I just hit him, and I felt like, you know, like I woke up or whatever, and I just felt it, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like so in shock. I was like, fuck. Like, I just got this fucking car. Like, my mom's gonna kill me. I don't know what to do. Like, I was freaking out. I'm like, this guy, he was like Arabian. We pull over to the side, and he tells me, he's like, what happened? Like, he thought I was drunk, you know, at first. He's like, what happened? Da, 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 da. Like, you know, and then, like, he's seen that I was, like, so weak. Like, I was just like, you know, this small little freaking 5 feet girl. I get out of the car, and like, I'm like going to go talk to him, and he's like, get out of that side, you know, go to the other side, like a car is gonna hit you, what are you doing? Da, 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 da. And I go to the other side, and he's like, what happened? I was like, I don't know, I blacked out. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know how I hit you. And like, my car, I still haven't got it fixed because it doesn't really bug me that much. But I mean, when I do look at it, I'm like, oh my God. Like, it reminds me, I have a whole flashback. But I just have kind of like a little, I mean, I guess it's a little dent, but it's not super noticeable. It's noticeable if I show it to you. But the other guy's car, I did a pretty big dent to his car. And like, on my car, this is my car. This is, you know, my door, my driver's door, and it was the back door. So it was the passenger side, you know, it was the back door of my side, whatever, you get what I mean. And it was like right there, and the way I hit his car, it was like in the front of his car, his passenger side, in the, like, you know, where the front tire is. I think it's called the fender or something, I'm not too sure. So I'm assuming, I don't know how it happened, but I'm assuming I hit him like this. I blacked out, so I don't know, but I'm assuming I went like that, which I don't know. I've always tried to put it together in my head and figure out what happened, and I don't know, it's still to this day, it doesn't kind of make sense to me. I feel like maybe he already had gotten hit before, I don't know, because I just don't understand how I was going this way and I hit him like that. Like, unless I swerved and he was going, like, you know, straight, and, you know, he wanted me to hit him, I don't know, and he just went like that. But I hit him pretty hard. Like, his fucking, that was all indented in his car. And like, I remember he like gave me water, and he was telling me, like, you know, he was telling me everything. We didn't call the police or anything, but he gave me his phone number. And I remember, like, you know, long story short, I was driving home, and I called my mom, and I just started crying, and I told her what happened. And, you know, she was like, well, why, like, why did he black out? Da, 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 da. I was like, I don't know, Mom. Like, I don't know how this happened to me. She's like, you have to go to the doctors. Like, this is the second time that has happened to you. Da, 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 da. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if it's just I'm, like, tired. Like, I'm worn out. I don't know what it is. And like, I remember I got home, and it's like 3 in the morning, and my mom was still at work. And I remember, like, my little sister was sleeping in, what is it called, my mom's room, and my stepdad was there or whatever. And I never really, like, you know, cried to anyone, but I really needed someone to cry to and like hug. So I remember I like woke up my stepdad, and I was like, you know, tapping him to wake up, and I just started crying. Like, he probably thought I was like Annabelle or Exorcist or something, because I just was like staring at him till he woke up, and I was just crying. And sorry, Rochelle. And I just woke up and I was crying, and he was like, what happened? Like, are you okay? Like, I don't know if he thought someone was in the house, you know, robbing us. And I was just crying. Like, I was so done. I was like, I got in a car accident, and I was like shaking, you know, I was so in shock. And like, I remember actually, like, because when I was driving home, I called my mom and I called my boyfriend, but on base they don't really get a lot of signals, so he wasn't answering, and I was just like, oh my God, like, I was panicking. And like, when I got home, and you know, I was crying to him, like, he was telling me, it's okay, like, be glad you're alive, be glad you're okay, it could have been worse. Like, if you didn't hit that car, I would have hit the wall of the freeway, and then I would have been screwed. I probably would have been dead by now. I don't know how fast I was going. Obviously I was still driving when I blacked out. I don't know how, but the freaking devil does that shit to you. So then you know, the next day went by and I told my boyfriend what happened, and I still went to go pick him up from base the next day. You know, surprisingly, I was fine. I wasn't in like shock where I like, you know, was scared to drive. I could still drive. I just like really wanted to be alone. Like I just wanted to like think, and I wanted him there with me, you know, to tell me I'm gonna be okay and all of that. And then like this guy, he was like super nice. I remember he knew I was young. I was 18 at the time. He knew I was young, and like he knew that this would be in my record for about 6 years if, you know, what is it called? He reported it to the insurance. And either way, his insurance was expired. Oh, I can't talk. His insurance was expired, but either way, it was my fault. So, you know, my insurance would have had to, you know, pay his car out. So what we ended up doing was we ended up giving him like $1,000 cash, and he fixed his little 2015 Kia. I remember exactly. It was a white Kia, and he fixed it. And I remember I like texted him. I was like, you know what, thank you for this. Like my insurance would have went so high, like this would have been on my record forever. And like it was just super crazy. And then, you know, that was that, and I was okay. And you know what, there's actually another story that I want to throw in here. It's not a car accident story, but my little sister's in here, so she's gonna hear it for her first time too. So there was this one time, me and my best friend, we went to a rave, right? And you know how I told you I've experimented with a few, you know, drugs before, whatever. So there was this one time that me and my best friend, we went to a rave, and we both took half of a pill. We both took half of a pill, and I remember it was like 2 a.m. once it ended, and you know, I was sober enough to drive. I'm not stupid. I know if I'm on something, like, don't drive, you know, but I was sober enough to drive. I didn't feel anything, and I was driving home. And I remember I was on like 6th Street here in Ontario, and Rachel, are you ready to hear this? Okay, so I remember I was driving, you know, and okay, my car has these blind spot monitors, so it beeps when someone's in my blind spot, and it didn't beep, okay? But I guess there was a car there, and you know how you're supposed to switch lanes, you know, 1, put your blinker, 2, you know, switch, you know, 1 at a time. I guess, you know, I did it all at once. Because I was on the right side, I did it all at once to get to the left side. So supposedly I cut this car off and I almost made him crash, supposedly. But I know there was no car there because my blind spot monitor would have went off, and it didn't. So just want to get that out of the way. But I was driving on 6th Street. I think it was like a 45-mile-per-hour zone. I was going about 55, I think. It was 2 in the morning. Like I was trying to get home, you know, like I was trying to drop off my best friend and get home. And I remember seeing the sirens in the back of my car. And I was like, oh my fucking shit. I was like, Deanna, what the fuck do I do? I was like, what do I do? She's like, pull over. Like, what are you doing? Pull over. And I pull over because honestly, if she would have not told me, like if she would have said, just go, go, you could lose him, I would have gone. Like, I just was like so shook. But I pulled over. And the cop tells me, he's like, oh, like, what are you doing? Why were you speeding? Like, you almost hit that car over there, like, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, I don't know, sir. Like, I have no excuse for that. I didn't know that, you know, I did that. I was like, I just went to a music festival. Like, I'm trying to drop off my best friend and go home. Excuse me. And he asks me, he's like, have you had any, you know, drugs or have you drank anything tonight? And I was like, no, sir, I haven't. Again, burping. I was like, no, sir, I haven't. I was like really talking to him really like, you know, nice, professionally. Like I was calling him sir. I was really respectful. I wasn't nervous to him. Like I wasn't nervous speaking to him. Like I know other people would have just sat there and cried to a cop to get out of it. But I was just, you know, I was just letting God take the wheel. I was just like, no, sir, like I haven't drank anything. Like I'm fine. And he was doing the little, you know, when you follow the pen thing. So he was doing that on me. He takes my driver's license, my registration, he goes to the back of his car, and then he, you know, he tells me, hey, Jasmine, get out of the car, and the little, you know, speaker thing, and I get out, and I'm like, okay, well, he's gonna make me walk in a straight line, and I'm freaking clumsy as hell, so I knew I was gonna fail that, even though I wasn't drunk, but luckily, he didn't do that. He just did the pen thing again, had me follow it, and then he tells me, he's like, hey Jasmine, like, you wear glasses, huh? Because I do wear glasses. I'm supposed to wear them when I drive. And I was like, yes, sir, like, I do. He's like, where are they? And I was like, you're not gonna understand this because, you know, you're a guy and stuff, but I don't like wearing my glasses when I wear my eyelashes because it hides them and they're big. And then he's like, well, honey, like, your what did he say? He was like, your safety is more important than your beauty, like, you know, telling me all this and that. He's like, why don't you get laser eye surgery and da 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 da. And I was like, well, actually, sir, I was like, my boyfriend's in the Marines and they're not letting him get laser eye surgery till he's 21, da 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 da. And then, like, I started talking about something that me and him both related to, like, we could have a conversation about, and I don't want to say it because it's just something. And, like, I started talking to him about that. I was like, hey, like, when is this going on, da 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 da, where can I get, you know, that phone number to go back there? And then, like, he was really nice to me, you know. Okay, because to raves, you know, you kind of dress like a slut, but I was wearing a t-shirt dress and fishnets and Converse because I drove home and I was cold, so I was wearing that, and I just had like a little bun in my head. I had a little bun and I looked really, like, cute, like, innocent. And, like, he told me, he's like, has your friend had anything to drink? And I was like, no, sir, she hasn't, like, she's okay. He was like, does she have her driver's license? I was like, yeah, she does. And then he was like, okay, what I'm gonna have you do, I'm gonna have her drive to her house and you spend the night there. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, bless your soul, because I could have gotten 3 tickets. I could have got 1 for crossing the lanes, 2 for speeding, and then 3 for not having my glasses. So I would have been screwed and I would have been in jail right now, and thankfully I'm not. Right, Rochelle?
Look at my eyebrows. I filled them in for the first time.
Oh wow, they look nice. Well, I'm not in jail, so luckily, you know, I thank the freaking Lord for that, because I remember I was just sitting in there and I was praying. I was just like, you know what? Take the wheel right now. Like, whatever happens, happens. If you, God, want me to succeed, you're not going to make me go to jail right now. And luckily, I didn't. But, I mean, those are my little story times revolving me and being in a car accident. I just wanted to throw the other one in there because it had to do with my car, and, you know, it's kind of, you know, a little twist. But I really hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys!